Welcome to Loving Life, a guide to a positive mindset. I'm your host, Lisa. I'm a mindset and energy coach, and each week you'll discover mindset shifts, energy practices, and real life tools to help you feel more confident, calm, and in flow, because you deserve to love the life you're creating. I'm so glad you're here with me. Let's get going on today's episode.
Hi, welcome back to Loving Life. Now, have you ever had one of those days where everyone seems happier than you, more successful than you, more organised than you? Or maybe you've spent 20 minutes scrolling and suddenly you don't actually feel better. You actually feel frazzled and confused. Now, this is one of the downsides of social media. And social media isn't going anywhere. So today I want to talk to you about how to protect your peace when you are on it. Before we get into that, I am coming to you from somewhere different today. Somewhere that is not my bed, not my office. I'm actually in the car. This is called using my time wisely. So George is in a tennis lesson right now, so I am sat in the car with the windows slightly open, so if you can hear cars and things in the background, then that's why. But yeah, I'm using my time wisely. But I'd love to know what you have been up to in the last week or over this summer. I mean, you basically know everything that I've been doing. But yeah, we're a little bit quieter now, although Alfie's away at the moment. He is away in Newquay at a music festival, and it's the first time he's been away like properly without school organised or parents organised activities. Like, this is his first thing where he's completely on his own, got the coach down to Newquay, at a festival in a tent on his own, and yeah, so there's a lot of mum nerves going on right now. But hopefully he's having the best time. I am trying to distract myself. So I've been doing lots of things around the house. Like, I've had this urge to do some home improvements recently. So yeah, I've been doing that to, stop me worrying about him. Because what's the point? Like, hopefully he's having a great time and he'll be back on Monday. So let's just take a look before we get going on today's episode. Let's just take a look to see where the most amount of downloads came from last week. And the most amount of downloads of how to feel more comfortable in your own skin came from, now I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Omaha in Nebraska. I hope I'm saying that right. And then Minneapolis again, and Chicago. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to you, wherever you are listening from. I really appreciate you coming back. So yeah, do let me know what you've been up to this summer so far. Let's get going with today's episode. So if you would have told me, 14-year-old me in the 90s, that one day I'd be carrying around a tiny computer in my pocket where I could instantly see what everyone I'd ever met was doing, read breaking news wherever I was, answer work emails while standing in Tesco, and watch a video of someone organising their kitchen cupboards in America, I would have said, what are you on about? And the funny thing is, we have adapted to it so gradually over time that we don't actually realise how mentally exhausting it can be. So I just want you to actually, before we get going, to take your mind back to the 90s, however old you were. Like, I was a teenager, however old you were in those days, before mobile phones, before social media, and just think how different life was, because actually until we stop to realise how different it is now compared to how it was then, it's been such a gradual change, but also a really fast one as well. Like, this digital era that we are in has happened so fast. Am I making sense? I don't know if that is making any sense. But basically, social media isn't going anywhere. And actually, I don't think it has to, because some of my greatest ideas and creations, and actually some of my friendships have come through being online, meeting people online. And so the answer isn't disappearing from the internet. But I do think that it's important to learn how to protect your peace whilst you're on it. We are living in a world where we are constantly available. So the news comes through to our phone, emails, we can access them at any time, work notifications, family WhatsApps, social media, and with that comes comparison. More on that in a moment. But we have access to everyone's opinions. We have access to everyone's holidays, everyone's achievements, every breaking news story, every tragedy there is, every argument, every trend, every expert, every comment section, 24 hours a day. The internet has given us something that we've never really had before, which is unlimited access to other people's lives. And our brains weren't really designed for that. In this digital world where, like I said, things are moving more than ever before, comparison is almost inevitable because of this, because your brain is processing thousands more people than it ever evolved to. The rate of this digital era is evolving much quicker than we are actually keeping up with. So again, I want you to just take yourself back to the 90s where, and the 90s is my era. Do you know what I mean? Like, so to be fair, you can bring in any era that you felt was your era. So if you are older than me, then the 70s, 80s or 90s. And if you're younger than me, then the 2000s. But I want you to take yourself back to what you consider your era. And the people that you compared yourself to back then were probably like your friends or celebrities in magazines, maybe. And that in itself was bad enough, especially in the 90s where you had like the real skinny culture. But that's not what we're talking about today. But you might have also compared yourself to people at school or people at work. But today you compare yourself with a millionaire in Dubai. You compare yourself with a mum in Australia, a fitness coach in LA, somebody renovating a cottage in the Cotswolds, someone who's just run their 10th marathon, someone who's made 6 figures this month. Whatever, I'm not jealous. Someone who's baking sourdough from scratch, all before you've even had your breakfast. No wonder our brains feel left behind. We're comparing our ordinary Tuesday morning with thousands of people's highlight reels. Because let's not forget that people tend to mainly post the amazing things that are happening in their lives, the good things. It's very rare that you find people sharing the everyday, because it's not exciting. Let's be honest, it's not as exciting. And if you think about it, we spend so much time curating our homes, our wardrobes, our gardens, but our Instagram feeds, we let complete strangers decorate our minds. And what I mean by that is, I can't remember where I said it. It might have been on this podcast, but it might have been somewhere else. I can't remember where I said it. But a while ago, I talked about the algorithm and how if you watch something for more than 3 seconds, your algorithm becomes it, or that becomes your algorithm. So we are letting those people who we have never met before decorate our minds. And what I want you to do is think about your Instagram feed like your living room. You wouldn't invite someone into your home every day if they constantly made you feel not good enough, if they made you feel anxious, if they made you feel guilty, if they made you feel behind or overwhelmed. So why do we invite them into our mind every morning? So something I think we should all do is to go through our social media and unfollow all the accounts that leave you feeling less than good enough, and start muting people without guilt. And this goes for WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp groups that take your energy, mute them as well. And back to social media, seek inspiration instead of comparison. So following people who educate you in the way that you want to be educated, inspire you, or genuinely make you smile. And remembering that every watch beyond 3 seconds becomes your algorithm. So be aware of what you are consuming. And remember that every person you follow is an invitation into your head. Because the minute you follow them, or the minute you watch them and they become your algorithm, they are going to be influencing your thoughts and your beliefs about yourself. And look, when it comes to protecting your energy, we could easily say, well, just put your phone down. But let's be honest, these apps are designed to keep us there. They're not designed around our well-being. They are designed to keep our attention. So if you've ever picked your phone up to reply to one message and 20 minutes later found yourself watching a woman in Canada colour coding her pantry, then you're definitely not the only one. I actually love things like that. But they are such a distraction. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually do love social media. I love watching somebody in Canada or wherever they are colour coding their pantry. It actually inspires me. But other reasons I love social media, and I do have a real love-hate relationship with social media. I hate the distraction. I hate how consuming it is. I hate how it makes me feel when I've fallen down that trap and that rabbit hole. But I love how it's given me some amazing friendships that I have met through online communities that I'm part of. That wouldn't exist if it wasn't for social media. I've had some amazing clients that have come from social media, and business opportunities, and so much inspiration. Like, much of the sort of creative ideas I've had have come from inspiration that I've had on social media. And a lot of the learning I've done has also come from being inspired on social media. So I don't think protecting your peace actually means deleting Instagram. I don't think that's the answer here. By all means, you can if you want. And I definitely don't think that the answer is hating technology, because I don't know about you, but I love that I can message my family instantly. I love that my podcast reaches people all over the world. I love that I've met amazing people online. I love learning from experts. Let's be honest, I would not have access to them otherwise. So I think it's really important to be honest that we don't want technology, and we don't actually want social media to go away. It just means that we need to protect ourselves more. And going back to the living room, carefully curating it. And now I know some of you are probably thinking life was just better in the 90s. And I'm not here to argue with that. But can we just have a little nostalgic moment? Because I did love the 90s. So things we used to do instead of looking at our phones. So remember going to the toilet and reading the back of the shampoo bottle. Remember reading the cereal box whilst eating your breakfast. Remember waiting 2 weeks to get your holiday photos developed. Remember going on a car journey and having to get the map out and actually planning a route. And what was that map called that we used to have if you're here in the UK? What was that book? Oh God, it was like everybody had it. It was white and it had like red and blue writing on the front, or logo on the front. You'll have to remind me if you know what I'm talking about, because that's going to really bug me. But also remember listening to a whole album, because skipping songs actually took effort. Remember having to stop, rewind the cassette, having no idea where you were going to end up. Remember getting it all clogged up and you'd have to get the pencil out and unravel it all and then put it back in again. Remember sitting by the radio with your finger hovering over the record button, recording the charts, hoping that the DJ wouldn't talk over the start of your favourite song. Like, the world has changed massively since many of us were growing up, whether that was in the 70s, the 80s, 90s or 2000s. And no, I'm not saying we should all throw our phones in a drawer and pretend it's 1996 again. Even if that would mean that we can relive the days of the Spice Girls coming out and reenacting the dance with our friends. Oh, to be a teenager again. But this podcast is about loving life. It's not about wishing that life was different. But I do think there are a few things that we can borrow from that slower world that we used to live in. We can't go back to the days of having house phones rather than mobile phones and having to wait a week to see your holiday photos. And honestly, I don't think we would actually want to. I know I wouldn't. I don't want to go backwards. I love that I can speak to listeners all over the world. I love that I can learn from amazing people with the tap of a screen. And I love that I can FaceTime my family. Protecting our peace and our energy isn't about living like it's 1996 again. Maybe it's about bringing a little bit of 1996 into 2026. Maybe we don't need to know everything the moment it happens. Maybe we don't need to compare ourselves with thousands of strangers every day. And maybe we don't need to be available every minute of the day. Protecting your peace isn't about rejecting the modern world. It's about learning to live in it without letting it constantly pull you away from yourself, from who you really are. So the next time you pick up your phone, don't ask yourself, what's everyone else doing today? Ask yourself, who gets to decorate my mind today? Like I said, this podcast has never been about wishing life was different. It's about loving life. And sometimes loving life begins with protecting that space between your ears. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this episode today. If you have, if you've resonated with it, then as always, please do reach out and let me know what you've resonated with. Next time you see a bit of 90s nostalgia on Instagram, please do tag me in it because I do love a bit of 90s nostalgia. So that's it from me for this week. Have an amazing weekend and week, whatever you're doing, and I will speak to you next week. Sending you so much love. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and if you're listening on Apple, as 95% of you do, review. It really helps the podcast reach more people who are ready to shift their mindset and raise their vibration. And if you know someone who would benefit from today's episode, feel free to share it with them. Until next time, keep loving life and know that I'm sending you so much love.